I'm kind of excited to see Pilar die on a bit of a different hero, though. You might not be convinced, but I'm waiting, open expectations here. Maybe we see some nice little toss into skewer plays from Pilar die. Or if he can get that Blink Dagger reasonably early on, the Blink RPs to set up the team fights for 5 men could be spectacular, you never know. And we have seen Pilar die get more farm than really I'm used to him ever getting. You know, Misery has been getting one primary item and then shifting into more of a position 5 and allowing Pilar die a bit more farm priority as the game does move on.
Yeah, he really had a lot of farm in the previous game. They really relied on him getting that Aghanim Scepter. Not just getting it, I mean, you need to also use it to be efficient. But I love the build that Phantom Assassin is going for in this particular game. Just the casual 2 Ring of Regions straight into Divine Rapier. There is not a better option.
Oh, that is a build, isn't it? Yeah, bit of regen into a bit of damage. We'll see what Ace gets up to as he'll decide what real items he wants to go for. Up top on the PA there, looks like Toby and Aramis are going to be the opponents in the lane as Pilar die, already feeling the pain from the Light Strike Array. Trying to sneak out a Bounty Rune under the nose of Viking. Looks like Toby here with a Crush going to be able to secure both of those Western Bounty Runes with Aramis, while Shad steals one. Gets in behind Misery, so 3-1, the Bounty Rune exchange already favoring Viking.
And this top lane, it's a double stun lane against 2 melee heroes. So it should be a pretty easy lane for Viking. I'm just going to say that they're going to crush it. No puns intended.
That's definitely intended, Lacoste. You are the pun king. And then mid lane, looking towards that. Boom on the Shadow Fiend against the melee hero as well. Always going to have that slight advantage with the Razors stacking up. The wave met under the Radiant tier 1 though, so Boom missing out on a couple of last hits and going for that classic bottle rush with the mango spam that we see from Shadow Fiends all too often nowadays. And a peek down towards bottom quickly. Salary there battling with Misery's Phoenix while Shad farms up against Zibe's Mars. That's a classic Mars Phoenix combo here, but they're against Chen with a lot of regen, as he'll get his level 2 up in Divine Favor pretty soon along with a headdress.
Yeah, he started with the headdress. Sven has some extra regen. Actually 6 per second. Only 8-1 tango so far, so pretty good. I don't think they have enough to actually kill heroes on the bottom lane since it's only Chen. But, you know, he can make some stacks. He's just going to provide you with enough regen to sustain in the lane. Get through all this harassment.
So our main focus probably going to be top. We've already seen a little bit of regen trading there. As Toby and Aramis using the multi-stuns that you were talking about against these melee heroes, and again, going straight onto Pilar die. Magnus hits level 2, so Skewer is ready to get him back under that tower. And forcing the early salve and clarity as well.
It's very costly if you're playing position 5 Magnus, where you use Shockwave and Skewer combo, and you don't get a kill in return. So his clarity will be cancelled, like... Yeah, Slardar is just going to completely dominate this lane.
And when Magnus goes to pull now, Lena's going to be outranging him, even contesting and stopping the pull from going. Oh, the ranged right-click attacks from the little troll priests. They follow and do drag the aggro. Yeah, very well done by Pilar die.
Still, he's not going to get any denies from this.
Gets 1 CS, but the pretty full HP creep wave still will return to the tower. And that wave probably going to shove now back towards Radiant side of the map, which is exactly where a double stun lineup wants it. Where Slardar is now, that's where they want to be playing from. So Lena can lurk in the shadows, and they can go for those initiations. And also, Sentry was placed by Pilar die, but immediately dewarded, so the large camp is open for Lena to pull, while also blocking the small camp, so Magnus can't actually manipulate the creep wave himself. Everything going perfectly top for Viking. Now Bash onto Ace, just putting that pressure on. Toby not wasting his mana. TP in towards mid. Boom, looks like he's been tossed under tower. Chessie giving chase, and the rotation from Misery, you said it. Don't need slows or stuns, you just need the raw damage. Take that first blood on Boom's Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, that's exactly what they needed. Rune is gonna spawn in 30 seconds, so they should be able to get it. Tiny really relies on refilling that bottle to keep the kill threat on a Shadow Fiend. Shadowfiend also needs to get a raindrop against the Tiny, but a bit short on gold at the moment. Let's see how many heroes we're gonna see rotate just to secure Tiny's rune.
Looks like there's a lot of heroes coming. 3 from either side, so we've got the 6-hero mid lane gathering up. Top rune spawns an invis there for the SF, but Piladai has other ideas. Forces Aramis to take it. Might be under threat of dying though, with a couple of raises from Boom, short range into medium. Ooh, he's hesitated a little bit there. Boom's still going to get the kill though. Busts out of clarity now as well, as he can return to lane after clearing out this camp for a few souls.
It's a good start for Tiny. Like, he got the XP. Misery got the first blood. Unfortunately, like, you would want your Tiny to get every possible goal that there is at the start, so you can kill people. You get the good timing on a blink dagger. He snowballs out of control. This is the type of hero that Tiny on mid is. Let's see. Gonna toss him back to the creep wave. No, just full
gonna
combo.
avalanche toss him. Boom has a tango, but the 5-minute rune spawning means now Chessie can go over to that Radiant side, gather up a couple. Piladai stolen one. Oh, Misery gets one down bottom.
Tower is under attack.
And this time, 3-1 for 5 men. As they very actively go and take control of the runes. And this now forces Shadowfiend to get back into the jungle, farm up a couple of camps, go back home all the way to Fountain, and then maybe return to lane. Interesting for me anyway, Lacoste. Phoenix farming jungle right now.
It's a classic. If your teammates said something, pinged you way too many times, you're like, see you guys. In 10 minutes, I'm just gonna farm up my meter hammer, and then I'm gonna be joining you. He's making the stacks for PA. He knows that, you know, Magnus and PA is not a strong lane, and she farms fast with the Empower, just need time to recover.
Just need to weather that storm. Make sure you don't bleed out too early on.
Oh, but that Cabal 4-man, the best looking creep in Dota 2, actually blocked the spawn. Like, he blocked 2 spawns. That's nicely done by Celery.
Very good. Stop that acceleration. And Shadowfiend just has to hide in the trees, but Chessie showing off the avalanche toss combo. Falling back on a regen rune. Might make his first rotation down bottom in a second. But the vision's pretty good from both teams. You can see how very focused they are on the river, especially looking for these rotations from Tiny, from even the Lina, for example. Dire and Radiant tripling up pretty much. 2 Radiant Obs down bottom, 1 Dire in mid, and then a Radiant Observer Ward near Roshan up top.
Yeah, Radiant has everything covered. They want to see 2 runes. Same goes for 5 men, where like you want to control the runes for your Shadowfiend. Same thing on the other side. Tiny, you want to have haste, invis, arcane, anything that is not illusion, so you can gank, and he also gets a very nice item for him. Either that, arcane rune, or faded brooch for some extra mana and extra movement speed, so he makes an easier rotations.
Faded brooch would be real good for Tiny. Speed the little pebble up. Sven clearing through some stacks. Gets a mango tree. Faded brooch found by nobody, apparently.
Shad found it, sent it back. Shadowfiend is gonna take that one gladly. And I love the build that Toby has queued up. You know, you're a Slaughter, you want to scale as this hero. He has insane talents. I see Echo Saber being queued up. Like, you... Slaughter is a position 3, you know, that can outscale some of the position 1 heroes if you go for correct talent choices. We've seen in the previous game where Zibe went for HP region and HP. Like, when you play the off lane, that means your core, and going for 20 damage and 60 bash damage talent is just insanely good.
Yeah, especially against all these melee heroes and against the egg. He's going to have a grand old time. Viking are coming into the Dire jungle, scouting out some of these big juicy stacks that have been made. Shad has God Strength on, Chessie Arcane Rune, gets a 2-man avalanche, and in dives Misery, but look at how many Viking have. 5 men are up against 5 men with a nice arena of blood. Mars initiates, And Shad is dropping low. They've speared up Toby to the side of the Colosseum. Boom still trying to battle away. But the Avalanche toss comes back up thanks to that arcane rune of Chessie. And here we go. 5 men. They get a 1-for-1 trade SF for Phoenix, but the PA has arrived.
Tiny's just
Hitting and critting, and Shad's going to die. That is disaster for Viking.
Toss. You don't want to chase? Toss the Z-Bid? Nah. And Tiny, I talked about the Arcane Rune. This is the best rune you can get on Tiny, especially in this kind of scenario. Yeah, they got the stacks, but they lost 2 cores and their Lina.
And a courier.
And a courier as well on top of that. But the good thing is, your Chen is farming on the bottom lane, getting closer to mech. Mars,
not for
ready.
much longer. Phoenix and Mars are right on top of him. Zibe's looking for the spear angle. He's going to have to throw it sooner rather than later, but I have to give up on that kill. Fiery Spirits? Nah, he's got a stick. He's fine with all that HP regen from Divine Favor.
Dire are scanning.
Or is he? Chessie wants him. They've scanned under tower. They know somebody's here. Celery, where are you?
Where could he possibly be if he did not
we
TP
found
out?
you!
It's gonna be a sick time. I'm gonna Blink Dagger on Tiny. Just 600 gold away. We'll clear the creep wave. They continue to pressure the tower. Bounty runes are spawning, so that means some extra gold in his pockets.
Yeah, you were saying, 12-minute blink or something for this mid-tiny, and it looks like it's going to be bang on time, if not early. Even without the catapult, they are doing some severe structural damage down bottom.
They even found Royal Jelly, so that's even more mana sustain coming up from Cane Ring, Royal Jelly on Tiny.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yep, PA uses one, hands over the second to Tiny. Viking yet again trying to amass all their efforts into one zone of the map, but the arena catching Lina. And she is dispatched with incredibly quickly. Now they can deny the tower top, remove some of that gold income. As Viking were trying to pressure there and buy a bit of space for Boom and Shad.
Dire's top tower has been denied.
Our PA going for a pretty early build as well. We've seen a lot of Ace going, Battle Fury on several heroes. But Desolator straight up here.
There's a mag on his team, so no need to go for it. Just get that raw damage. And I've seen some PAs. It's popular in Chinese scene, and Europeans also starting to copy it, I guess, where they get like Deso and they get Aghanim Scepter, which is pretty damn nice for Blur to reduce the cooldown, and it's also instant. It also, on top of that, refreshes all of your abilities.
You can keep chaining the daggers over and over. Yeah, you're right. We've seen a lot of this kind of Deso into, Ag, second or third item. Maybe you feel you need a BKB. We'll see what Ace decides this game. If he's feeling a little bit unsafe, he might go for one of those defensive items, BKB or Manta style. And Piladai just wandering around the map. Wherever the PA goes, he will follow. He's the wind in her wings, allowing her to float around and farm all these neutral creeps.
Every single time I see someone needs to recover, Gaben says, like, yeah, I'm gonna give him Iron Talon.
Iron Talon, Philosopher's Stone, here you go. Just catch up a little bit. Boom, Shadow Fiend going for the BKB rush, which has become the norm on SFs recently, it feels like. Very susceptible to getting jumped on and blown up as a pretty squishy hero. And then he can go back and decide whether he wants to be the heavy right-click hitter or maybe a bit of magic damage, as Toby did dodge the avalanche, but a toss into the arena. And where's the spear? Looks like Zibe's not going to throw it in. Toby's just left to his own devices. A
That's a
five-man
tough
retreat.
kill to get. Slardar has 2000 HP with the stick and Fairy Fire.
Radiant's middle tower
Also
is under
forcing
attack.
Viking to all move up top. You can see how quickly they did it. Sven and Shadow Fiend both arriving as they go again in onto Slardar. Chessie snipes it. And even with the backup here, Boom had retreated to triangle. Sven was still lurking around, but they get the kill regardless.
Well, seems like me and Toby have the same thinking about the game. Like, I did not really think he can die there. That's why he went back in.
5 men proving him wrong. next goal for 5men feels like the mid-tier 1. Well, that's why we're starting to see Viking all gathering here. Toby's ready. Boom can fight. Chen has arrived with his mech. But no Hand of God for 2 minutes. And this is all just a massive play here by 5men to create this portion of space for Phantom Assassin to accelerate her farm so quickly. She's not got Battle Fury, but she's keeping pretty much in line with the Sven's net worth. Only a few hundred behind.
So many stacks are being made for Phantom Assassin. They are not invading Dire Triangle. There's not a single ward right now, and Magnus is doing a good job just making the stacks. He just hit level 7. It's very hard for your mag to get the gold. Like, the only gold he gets is pretty much from stacking.
Yeah, he's got level 4 Empower now, though. Tranquil's Bassi, so he can continually spam out that Empower on the PA. Piladai could still make some sneaky little drift plays with the skewer into, a drive-by RP. Meteor Hammer done on Misery as well. It's all clicking into place for 5men. As the aggressive moves from Viking are few and far between. Without the blink on Slardar, Sven can't really just walk into a fight. How does Viking set themselves up if they want to go and take an objective, the mid-tier 1 or Roshan? What's their game plan?
I think they're just farming nicely. They don't necessarily need to take a fight right now. Get a BKB on your Sven. Get a BKB on Shadowfin. The Blink Dagger on your Slardar.
Just slowly but surely try and build yourself up. As again, a very tight game. These two squads are very close in terms of skill and how they've been drafting and executing. A few kills to the good. 5men only a slight net worth lead as they do try and aim in towards mid. But again, Toby, that positioning, hangs off to the left-hand side. Doesn't open himself to be initiated upon. It's a game of wave clearing so far, Lacoste.
Yeah, no one wants to take a fight. PA says, I'm fine, I'm level 12. Deso is done, farming with Empower. I want to get a BKB next item, which is a much safer choice. They have no abilities that go through magic immunity. So yeah, I can understand that.
RMS TP's back to tier 1. The feeling that danger is coming. That little tingle you get when it's unsafe in the area. Sven is still top of net worth. BKB not too far away. And pretty widespread across the map from Viking as well, playing in this buddy system almost. Lina Sven with the stuns, they can pretty much catch and kill anyone if they're able to stick on their target. And while the rest of Viking near the Shadow Fiend to make sure he doesn't get jumped on while he gets towards the Black King bar. 5men just biding their time. They really would want to go and fight. They've got Blink on Mars, trying to hunt for somebody, but closing in on him when Chen creeps are scouting, holding that line, looking to snipe couriers as well.
Both of these teams can actually smoke and get inside the Roche pit and try to get it. Phantom Assassin with Vampire Fangs and Deso has enough sustain. Maybe not enough damage yet. They need another hero inside the pit, but it's much safer if you just, try to take a team fight and then go for Roche. Blink Dagger getting closer for Slardar to pick it up. Shadowfin just finished his BKB. Sven only recipe away. Let's see if they go for a Roche play. Yeah, they're in.
Straight into the pit, you're absolutely right. Alpha Wolf, Chen with his army. And they will look to slay the big man. No scan here, worth pointing out, for either team. And with a lack of vision, Dire doesn't quite know this is happening. Mars doesn't see anyone bottom lane. Lina did show top a second ago.
Misery, if he lands a good hammer, let's see. They might turn things around. Everyone's just grouping up.
He knows what's going on. Dive into hammer. Connects onto Roshan and one of the Chen creeps. Pilar dies thinking about how he can get into this fight properly himself. As Viking grouping up. Sven Illusion stunned by the avalanche, but Roshan's about to drop. The initiation from 5 men is not coming, and now they're in a position where they're forced to fight regardless. A great arena with the Supernova, but the right click's coming, and the RP's there, the Shadow Fiend's caught. Toby can't get across to the egg, and it lands! Misery! The Supernova's wonderful, but Boom with the BKB Requiem. Laguna Blade into Misery, and the Phoenix is down. Sven looking to hound anyone he can. That God Strength going, but 5 men have disengaged. A 2-for-1 exchange.
Yeah, Phantom Assassin was still not ready to fight. Just the 400 gold away from that BKB. If she had it, she would definitely blink in on one of the targets and try to grab a kill. This way, Aegis secured for Shadowfiend. I see a couple of items queued up. Dragonlance, full MKB. Like, you're gonna need MKB against the Phantom Assassin at one point. And you also want to go for damage build. Like, you do not want to go for any spell damage. You have Slaughter to amplify things for you. Man, Toby is farming nicely. Like, Echo Saber going for Aghanim Scepter on top of that. Just said, screw it, I'm not gonna get Blink Dagger.
Yeah, forget that. Shen chased down, but Toby's here to save the day. The spear back keeps Zibe up. Celery blowing off the face of the map with the focus on Tiny. Jesse being chain stunned. The Mars Arena looks pretty good, and in comes the PA, finally looking ready to fight. But Toby surviving for so long as Tiny makes his quick escape. The Lina falls off to the left-hand side, and the PA clears up 2 in a row. Now Shadowfiend without BKB. She's gonna lose Aegis, speared up to the side. And 5 men, still with 5 alive, have killed off 4 of Vikings heroes. Meteor Hammer beautifully timed as Misery begins the reinitiation on the Shadow Fiend, and 5 men, even into Aegis, looking incredibly strong with that teamfight combo.
It's a completely different fight once Phantom Assassin gets a BKB. There's no abilities that appears through Magic Immunity besides Slaughter ulti, and I don't think she cares too much about it. Now going for a Basher. Like, Chesty is playing this game so nicely. Like, reinitiating it was also a sick arena to hold everyone in place so they can get on top of Tiny, because Tiny would give them a lot of gold and XP. Going straight into Aghanim Scepter. Loving the build from Chesty.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And Sven, you can see how afraid he is with BKB on cooldown. He is in the trees, hiding in the fog as far away as he possibly can. Shadow Fiend needs to regather all these souls which he's lost. A nice little stack there made for him by his team. But the struggle of the Shadow Fiend definitely showing itself here. 15 souls, all he's got. They smoke. Oh. Supernova's ready. Misery didn't use it last fight. It was still on cooldown.
And remember, it's a level 2 Supernova. They have 2 Echo Sabers, but still, you're playing into Mars and Phoenix, and they have good ways of protecting the egg with the Avalanche, with the RP. Of course, Magnus still does not have a Blink Dagger. It's a position 5 mag and needs to have constant clarities running on him so that he has enough to actually use Empower on 1, maybe even 2 targets.
Yeah, it feels like Pilot Eye's job is pretty much just empower the PA and Tiny, and if he can RP a core hero, all is good. The spear back, Zibe's found the jump. Toby completely out of position. Trying to clear out that mid wave and push into tier 1, but Viking weren't ready for that, and they're not ready for this. The PA in onto the Lina now, as Zibe has a spear back up in a second, can launch it out and catch out. The Lina doesn't even need it, holding it for another target because Tiny hasted, tossing back. The SF into the Centaur, the Avalanche there as Sven does get a stun down. The TP out with the BKB, but the RP lands. Pilot Eye's there, and that's his job. All he has to do is RP a core, and it's a good one.
And he needs to get, like, his... Blink at one point, stay as further away from fight as possible, use Empower, get the clarities running, maybe get a lane for yourself at one point, try to farm it up, because it's going to be a different story. Like, imagine having Mag still with a Blink Dagger, and that's his job, Empower and the Blink RP.
Very simple to execute there for Pilot Eye. Leave all the nuanced finesse play to the PA. And this Tiny now a couple of hundred away from the Aghanim Scepter. As we see the Shadow Fiend die once more. And it's a sad time, down to 10 souls now. Boom has a lot of catching up. 8,500 net worth. Very often feels like Shadow Fiend is in the same kind of realm as Alchemist and Anti-Mage. The Lina mid, you need to snowball, but every death matters so much more on this kind of hero, as you're not only off the map for 30, 40, 50 seconds, but you're missing out on farm, your souls are lost.
Yeah,
and
he's
any
not a hero
momentum.
that plays well from behind. And Sven, like, the map is shrinking. They don't have enough farm for everyone to get their items online. Like, Sven, remember his BKB timing? He's not even close to the Aghanims. 5-man's movement around the map, the warding, everything is on point this game. They made so many stacks.
And they haven't been able to utilize this Lina. Position 4 Lina very often is, paired up with Slardar, with Sven.
Oh, there's
And-
Lina in the game?
Exactly. Usually we're seeing Lina with one of those two stun heroes just going around, finding kill, pick off after pick off.
Top tower
So it's not only the aggressive maneuvering here from 5-men, but also the fact that they're keeping, PA hidden. Tiny's not showing himself, and
lane.
Celery. Yeah, the Chen. Just being burnt to a crisp by Misery, and Zibe there for the final touch.
Just gonna take one for the team. To go back to your point about Lina, Lina does not have a hero to play with in this game. Like, no one has a Blink Dagger, Sven, no Aghanim Scepter. So she just needs to, find a space for herself, try to get any kind of farm.
Relegated to split pushing and collecting bounty runes. Aramis at least will succeed in the latter, as Lina will take both of them down in the bottom right corner of the map. 5-men know exactly where she is, though, as they draw a big old circle around her. And they instead converge into the Dire team's favorite place on the map, and that is this Radiant Triangle, both defending Roshan and pressuring, focusing towards the tier 2s and the high ground. Well, the PA, oh dearie me. Where did that Lina go?
Seems like Viking are just buying time. I mean, Aramis pretty much understands that someone's gonna come. He just wants to see who's gonna come there, so the cores can try to get another item. Shadowfin, second item, Dragonlance. It's fine. It's not a game changer. Still a long run until you get that MKB. They definitely need Sven to have Aghanim Scepter to be more maneuverable in these team fights.
It just feels like, you're delaying this game to get your own items, and at the same time, Magnus now has a Blink Dagger, so the initiation effect from 5-men increased tremendously. While a Lotus Orb is, 50 gold away from Misery's Phoenix, even the supports on the Dire team are getting stacked with items. Slardar with Ags, Echo, and now a Solar Crest queued up. I'm trying to tank up as much as he can and be that frontliner for his Shadow Fiend. What do you get from Slardar Ags? There's a lot of stuff. Like
It's a
status
lot.
resist and-
HP regen, status resist, armor, puddle, you name it.
all the good stuff.
Movement speed from Guardian Sprint as well.
Hell yeah. PA,
Full axe.
it's coming. Tier 2 tower, not going to last too long either. Little dive there with a Meteor Hammer, and this Deso going to work for Ace. As Tiny Zags now arrives, the Tree Volley, ready to chuck some trees into the Mars Arena.
Some big items on 5-men. Like having that blur on instant cast where you can dispel things, it's such a good thing. Roche spawned, and yeah, every single time I click on Tiny, I feel like he has Arcane Rune, and this Tiny, he will definitely scale. It's a Tiny with 6 and end power. At one point, if the game drags, he's gonna get dataless. Look at his damage.
Oh, that Tree Volley's adorable. Look at him. Roshan, down he goes. Aegis and Cheese in the hands of PA and the Tiny, respectively, and an immediate smoke. Chessie not in it. We'll see if he shows out on the map somewhere to bait his opponents into that false sense of security. But Viking appearing to be ready, holding high ground. Smoke there, Requiem channel. The PA feared, but not a lot of damage. Only 20 souls up on the Shadow Fiend, and they dived into the back. The 3-man Mars Arena, and with the BKBs going, Shadow Fiend and Sven, they are fighting, but they're stuck inside, and the PA's going wild. RP in the back will catch out Toby. The Slardar's been stunned up, but it's the Mars that gets taken out first. Laguna Blade was there, and 5-men. They do initiate, and they might get one kill. The trade of the offlaners is what we end up with.
They still have enough damage to just go for high ground. Jesse just popped the Arcane. And Phantom Assassin is always going to be in blur, playing from the fog. Like level 15 talents plus 350 cast range on that Phantom Strike is insanely good. I think that talent is a bit OP.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And she still has BKB. 9 seconds as well. They find the Chen, the jump in from the PA, annihilating Celery with a tree volley, the final lob of a big old branch. And Tiny says, thank you very much. I'll give this kill to Ace. And the high ground, still being pressured. Jesse, come on. Leave them alone. They're already dead.
They're running out of trees. Like, Jesse needs to find a spot for himself.
Yeah, where are the Striders? Where's the Ironwood branch? Or the Ironwood tree?
Nature's Prophet. Remember the old Nature's... Oh, sorry. The old tree and that had... I think trees grow back in 2 seconds. Yeah.
Well, they catch out Toby. He went on a bit of a dewarding mission. 1.2k crits from PA, though. And Aegis still in her hands for about 3 minutes, honestly. Gives 5 men a great position to be in as Jesse, he's going to find Lina. And with the Avalanche and the Tree Volley, pops the Eon Disc.
Phantom Assassin going on Shadowfin. Like, this cast is insane.
There's nothing they can do to stop Ace either. Look, straight onto Chen. Centaur Stomp misses and he just crits him down. Buyback straight out from Celery as they tried to hold on to any semblance of base control, and tier 3, it is crumbling quickly. 5 men are already back in action. RP is there with a Blink Dagger in a couple of seconds for While I Die. Just keep empowering your teammates as they whack away at barracks. Repair kit going though for Viking.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Ranged one, the first to fall. And the crush, not going to land. Toby just getting a corrosive haze onto the Mars for now, and an arena not quite well placed. Zone is out, the rest of Viking.
So they can easily reset. They are not relying on the cooldowns. Even if there's no RP, if there's no arena, they can still easily take a fight. Aegis. Minute and 30 seconds left. Tiny still holding on to that cheese. So they're pretty hard to take down. I think Viking might have one more fight.
And it's going to have to be like a sly smoke. Something to upset the balance of the game. Try and get them even the smallest advantage, because they need every advantage they can get. Illusion Ring for Shadow Fiend. Shove out the mid lane with those and TP back home because they need to defend their bottom lane. 5 men are here with a catapult wave this time. And Toby just crushing the floor to make the big puddle. Well, the tier 3 falls. Now in we go. Great spear off the blink, and the Shadow Fiend, he's going to have to buy back. Didn't even get a chance to pop his BKB as the Slardar slips away from danger, but the jump in from the PA makes sure to shut that down. 5 men know now that without Toby, they are in a 5 versus 4. And Viking are running out of options so quickly.
Double godlike. Both Jesse and Ace. 3 volleys, bringing
Shadow
Fiend down to half HP.
With the Arena of Blood now, Supernova in on top of them all. They try and focus it down with the right clicks, and they've killed off Zibby, but the RP from Pilot Die, it secures the egg, and they can keep on fighting. This is it. That's game over. There's no way that Viking can face up against this, and 5 men take it. The game and the series.
Yeah, good performance from 5 men, where the laning stage, at least the top, didn't work well for them, but they made so many stacks for Phantom Assassin to actually